So recently we've been doing a lot of talking about what you should do for your stream to help it grow. Today, let's get back to the tutorials. I'm going to teach you about one program that's going to help you up your stream game, and it's real simple. So before we get started, just a small disclaimer. This is going to need you to have an RTX card. If you don't have one, I unfortunately don't know how to get a workaround to work with this program with non-RTX cards, but I'm assuming a lot of you are going to be upgrading now or in the near future because the 20 series are going to go down in price and the RTX cards are fairly affordable, so hopefully this will be useful in the near future. And before we go any further with the rest of the video, I just want to remind you guys that I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday on twitch.tv/retro for the first time, and I'm live here on YouTube every Thursday. I also put up content almost daily on TikTok. It's also retro for the first time there. I hope you guys follow me in all those places. Come ask me questions, come pick my brain, come hang out. I like to chat, I like to spend time with you guys, so I hope you guys come and join me. All right, let's get started with the rest of the video. So if you guys have been following this series for any amount of time, you know that I've been talking about how to up everything in your stream. We've talked about microphones, we've talked about how to equalize your microphone and add filters to make it sound better for your stream. We've talked about webcams, using your phone as a webcam, and upping the quality of your color and all of the settings that you need to use for your webcam to up your stream in general. But today I have found a program that has been making rounds lately with how awesome it is, and it ups your webcam and ups your sound, all with a simple click of a button. Today I'm going to be talking about Nvidia Broadcast, guys. So first, let me show you where to download it, and then I'll show you what it can do. All right, back to how we usually do this. I'm down here in the corner, you guys. Let's get started. You're going to want to just open any browser. You're going to go to Google. You're going to type in Nvidia Broadcast download. And it's not this first one because that's an ad. It's just the one underneath. You're going to click this Broadcast app download, AI-powered voice, and whatever. You're going to click that. Once you're on the website, you're going to click download now and save the file to your hard drive. Then all you need to do is just install it, put it into your computer, and then open up the program, and then you should get started with the instructions. Let me show you what we can do with this awesome app. So this is Nvidia Broadcast. Now that it's installed and you've opened it, this is what you should be looking at. You're going to see 3 different tabs here: microphone, speakers, and camera. So let's talk about each one individually, and I'll show you what they all do. First of all, let's talk about microphone. What microphone is it's going to actually cancel the sound that's in your room besides your voice in order to make you easier to be heard. So here you can click what microphone source you're going to be using. You can see all the different ones that I have, you know, the sound from my capture card, the one from my Oculus Rift, and then this 3 USB audio codec is my microphone. So I'm going to click that, and that's now going to use this as the microphone source that I'm going to be using. Now, the noise removal is on right now, but let me turn it off. You guys shouldn't really hear a big difference because there's not a lot of noise in this room anyway, but I'm going to show you where this thing gets really cool. So I'm going to turn on a vacuum, which I've got right here, and I'll even show you that it's on so you guys don't think that I'm playing some screen magic by, you know, turning off the vacuum or something when I'm doing this. Okay, you guys should hear that vacuum. It should be fairly loud. This is a very quiet vacuum to begin with, but it's still loud in this room. The microphone should be quite sensitive to picking this up. Now let's turn on the noise removal. So now when I start talking, this is where it gets really interesting. The Nvidia Broadcast software is going to actually recognize my voice, and it's going to use machine learning to learn what my voice sounds like versus background noise. And now when I'm quiet, you may hear a little bit of vacuum noise in the background because it's not 100% perfect, but you guys should hear me right now, and there shouldn't be any vacuum noise. Now, the vacuum is still on. I can show you. Here's a piece of paper. Here's the vacuum. As I'm talking, you can see it's still on. I'm going to embarrass myself. Look. Look, it's still on. And the vacuum is being shown as super quiet on my volume signal there, and you guys shouldn't be hearing it. But this is going to be a game changer for your stream. All right, let me turn off the vacuum and I can talk a little bit more peacefully here. So let me talk a little bit about what the benefit of this is. Obviously, you just saw the major benefit, but what the major reason for using this is, and some of the drawbacks that I have found with it, and why now I exclusively use this. So if you guys watched my old video about my microphone, I showed you guys all the different filters you should put on the microphone. I've gotten rid of all of them. All I have now is a noise gate and a compressor. I am using this now as my main background noise removal. So Obviously, the major benefit is if you live in a house that's a little bit noisier, you are going to be able to remove the background noise. Things like air conditioning systems. Where I used to live, I had an actual air conditioner in the room and I always had to turn it off because it was just so loud. This is going to help a lot with reducing a lot of those noises. I think this is awesome. All right, let's talk about the next tab. So this tab is something that I don't really use because I don't do a lot of party gaming, but I have been hearing about this and reading about it. And basically what it does is it actually noise cancels other people. So I think this is really cool if you play games like Apex Legend or Fortnite or whatever, and you're on chat. Sometimes you'll have someone who has not matured in age very much. They have music playing in the background, or you know, they're just loud breathers on the microphone. This will do the exact same thing it's doing in your room, but with their noise. So that way, when you hear somebody who has, you know, a vacuum in the background, the machine learning will actually learn what their voice sounds like and start erasing sounds, so that way you don't have as much disturbance in your voice chat. Correct me in the comments if I'm completely wrong, guys. Like I said, I haven't used this, but that's pretty much my understanding at what this is for. For you online players, that is amazing. So this is the one that I'm the most excited about. This has probably the most use for me, and it's going to save me the most amount of money. The microphone noise canceling is awesome, but if you get your filters on right in OBS, you can still cancel noise without using this. This works a lot better than that does, but it's not a huge ultimate seller for me. But this tab is. So this is the camera tab, you guys. You can see here you can pick your camera source, which I have here. I am using a cam link, so I'm using my Sony camera, and it is connected to a cam link, and that cam link is what gives the signal. As you guys can see there, it shows background blur. This app can blur your background without having to have a super fancy camera or a super fancy lens. I know I'm talking through a super fancy camera right now, but let me show you the difference. Take a look at the arcade back there when I turn this off. Look how much sharper the image gets. There is still some blur because the camera does it on its own. The 1944, watch what happens when I turn on this blur here. It's now much, much blurrier. This adds a wonderful bokeh effect in photography and filmography. That's what it's called. The blurry background is called a bokeh. And this does it digitally. It doesn't need to have a super fancy camera with a super fancy lens to get that. That means that you can make your cheap webcam look much more expensive than it is. Let me show you guys that right now. Okay guys, so I'm holding my camera here. I don't have the settings really done up. It's gonna look weird, the colors are gonna be weird, but this is just to give you the basic idea. That's the camera I normally use there, but right now we are going through the C920. And now let's turn on that background blur. And you guys can see automatically, now it looks like a DSLR. Now the blur is a little bit less prominent here, so let's turn this up. There. Now look, you don't want to go extreme with it. You want to keep it fairly subtle to make it look real, but there. I am now popping out from the camera like way more. This is gonna be a game changer, you guys. This is gonna be so cool. All right, we're back to the fancy camera. So now what if you don't have an interesting background? What if you don't have lights or you don't have collections or whatever behind you and you just have a blank wall? So the blur isn't really going to be noticeable, or it's not really going to be useful for you. Well, this is what's going to help you. You click here where it says effect, and now you can remove the background. It's not working great here because I've got weird lights and stuff and all that, so it's going to give it some problems. But this is a great green screen replacement. If you can't afford a green screen and you don't have, you know, the space to set up a green screen, this is a really great alternative. Again, I have a bunch of lights and flashy stuff behind me, so the computer's having a bit of a harder time figuring it out. But if you have like a blank wall or you have, you know, a fairly empty room behind you, the computer should have a much easier time cutting you out from your background. And even if it doesn't do a perfect job, it still works as a green screen. Like, it's still better than nothing, right? Let's talk about the other options. You can do a background replacement. So here I can actually open up a file, and let's say I want it to be inside of Peach's castle or outside of Peach's castle. There we go. I'm outside of Peach's castle, you guys. I am ready to go on my adventure to find some stars. You can change your background if you want. And the last one's auto frame, where it tries to almost give like a panning effect so you can move around and the camera follows you, which I think is really cool. So you can actually move around depending on what you're doing, and it'll always keep you centered. If you guys watch my stream, you guys know that I struggle with that because a lot of the times I'm like, oh, I'm off. Oh, I gotta move. Oh, I gotta move. This will follow you perfectly. All right, Let me show you guys really quickly how to add this as your webcam now, because you won't be able to just select your webcam to use, and this will work with pretty much anything that you're using out there. Okay, so now I've removed myself, you guys. So we're gonna do a video capture device, add a new device, and now we're gonna look for my camera here. So if I chose my camera itself, I can't, because now the camera is blacked out. We've got the Nvidia Broadcaster open, which is right here, as you guys can see. It's using my cam link. So the problem is now I cannot select my camera, my cam link as my camera. If I do, it causes a black screen and it freezes my camera completely up. See, I'm frozen. So let's just switch this up real quick, get it reset. There we go. So you're actually going to choose, as you probably already saw, you're going to choose here where it says camera, Nvidia Broadcast. And that's it. Now your camera is in your OBS or your Zoom call or whatever. It'll just appear as a webcam. And just to show you guys that it works with everything else. So right now I'm using my main camera. So here, if I just want to switch what camera I'm using, which is this one right here, I just switch it. And now boom. And now this is my camera. And it takes a second to figure out what I am, and then it starts blurring the background. Now you can choose what camera you want to use just by easily selecting through here. So let's go back. And boom, there I am again. So you guys can see it's pretty straightforward. It is easy, and now you guys can have a fancy blurry background without having to have a fancy camera. All right, guys, I know that was a pretty simple video, but I hope this really helps. I hope that you guys are able to up your camera and sound game all with one simple program. Nvidia, thank you. This is awesome. All right, guys, I will see you at my next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.